Welcome back to another Zwift race. Thanks again for joining. This is the fourth race of ZRL, Tour of Tewit Well. This is a scratch race, so it's just first to the finish, but there's a lot going on between this start and the finish. Alright, so I'll kind of recap what's been going on. Sorry I didn't get too much this weekend. I didn't get to any of it. 2 cross races this weekend, so very busy, but now we can get back to some Zwift racing and hopefully a little bit more commentary. I've got 2 sprint videos that I really want to try and get out this week, so we'll do this one first and then maybe like one other one, then we'll get to the sprint races because that'll be super fun. Alright, as we've been kind of finding out in ZRL, this is a really tricky field. The fields have been super strong, so I just knew with this course being the way it is, it's pretty much just up and down. There's hardly any flat at all on this course, so I just knew that a lot of people with good power for a long amount of time would do really well. And we're going to hit the first climb almost immediately. We're going to turn left and then hit the first rise, and we'll just see how it goes. And there are the dots. Well, it's kind of hard to see the dots with so many people in this field, but you can see the little banner popped up on the left. I guess that's not necessarily the KOM banner, that's the entire course banner, but I think it'll probably switch over to the KOM relatively quickly. Anyways, we have passed the dots. We are now on the climb. If you could see at the very beginning of this climb, it was super steep, and it kind of leveled out just a little bit, but it's going to hit a point where it hits about 5%, and it's just going to sit that for a while. So super early on in the race, this is very helpful for me. I'm usually pretty good at these 2-ish minute climbs, 1.5 to 2 minute climbs this early on in the race. I can hang on usually no problem, and I'm in a good spot. I knew that it was 1 to 2% for a little bit right here, so I knew if I could get some draft up towards the front, I'd be in a good situation. And here we go, we hit the slightly steeper section now. Yep, 5 to 6%, and this is going to go on for quite a while. There's my teammate Katie Iserman Kavoto up there with me with the backwards Zwift cap, and I just know we're going to be pushing quite a bit. No one being super attacky. I think most people know it's too early to really attack hard on this climb, so we're all pushing, looks like a little bit over 4.5 watts per kilogram. However, me being me, I just hit 6 watts per kilogram so that I could kind of punch and then move up and then kind of relax just a little bit. I will do that a few times to get over this climb. And yes, we've been sitting at 6% for quite a while now. But if you look at the little mini map in the top right corner, you'll see that as soon as we turn that right corner, there's the finish banner. So as soon as we turn to the right, it's going to go back downhill right away. Alright, so we're pretty close. Staying in a good spot. Top 10. That was really what I was aiming for. Alright, so still in a really good spot. You can see there's almost a split a little bit further back. It's hard to tell exactly how many people back it is, and you can kind of see the split hardening even more, meaning it's separating. And I come around this top with really good placement, but you're going to see a lot of people are going to get the anvil and just take off. And this is going to be really tricky for me, and unfortunately, this is where I lose the group, which is just crazy on the downhill because this has never been my problem. But this is, once again, my sad complaint about not being able to super tuck when in a pack like this. The anvils drop, and that's it. I'm I guess I think I can catch back on, but I don't put the work in right away, and I start losing the group right here. So yeah, at the bottom of the hill, I'll be off the back but I'm able to catch a group, or I guess they catch me. So you'll kind of see that there's a group, a big group, 2 places behind me, and that's the group that I'm gonna pretty much finish the race in. So that's good. I mean, I really don't think I could have stayed with this front group on all the following climbs. If you look at everyone's numbers afterwards, like, there's just some crazy numbers for the entire race, not just like for the climbing sections. So anyways, I'm on my own. There's a group coming about, there we go, 5 seconds back, and I've got 2 teammates in there. So I'm like, well, I'll stick with them and we'll just see what happens. I'm in 36th place, and I do happen to know that I end up in 34th place at the end of the race. So at some point, 2 people in front of me drop back and I'm able to catch them. But I'm really proud of myself being able to stick with a group for the rest of this race. So once this group catches, I'm with someone the entire time. Alright, so once again, you saw that downhill, and look, we're on an 8% climb again. So like I said, very much 8 up and down. You can see on the little mini maps elevation that it just is constant rolls. There's no straight across. So I'm waiting for this group to come catch me, and then I'm going to work really hard to stick with them. Alright, so almost to the top of this climb. And you may be wondering, you have a feather, why didn't you use it for this climb? Well, there's a really, really, really steep climb in the next climb. That's what the next climb will be. So very steep hill. I know it's coming. I've previewed this course. I've ridden this course many times. But I recently rewatched it, made sure I knew what was happening, what power-ups I would be receiving as well. And here's my group. Here I'm going to try and stick in. And I did it kind of in a good place. So you can see it's down to 4%, 3% elevation now. So this is a place where I can actually draft a little bit. So I was able to just keep my own speed and momentum and power that I wanted for the steeper part. And now that it's flattened out, I have someone to work with. So that worked out pretty well with the timing there. So we're going to turn this left corner. We're going to go downhill, and then you'll see this really, really steep part, and I will be using my feather there. As you can see, we're also catching 2 people, so I wonder if these are possibly the 2 people that I catch. I don't know. I think it kind of goes back and forth. I think probably a few more people come off the front group, and then maybe I lose 1 or 2 in this group. Who knows how the placing works, because I was working as hard as I could and not focusing on where I ended up / where I am now. So anyways, here comes the downhill. So I want to make sure that I'm really on these wheels for this downhill, especially because if I do roll to the front, then I actually could super tuck if I were to reach the 35 miles per hour speed. So making sure I'm grabbing hold. Here comes my teammate Katie again. I believe Hega is also in this group. Yeah, there she is. She's just behind me. So in a good place, got a nice little blob to work with. I know that this upcoming climb is going to spread things out again. There's Hega. So I'm just trying to relax as much as possible, bring my heart rate down, so I can survive this epically steep climb. Possibly one of the hardest things about this race was just knowing that we had to do 2 laps of this course instead of just 1. So knowing I had to do this really steep climb and make sure I save enough energy to get over this climb a second time was also very challenging. I mean, I honestly think it was probably a good length to do 2 laps, but I'm not saying that it was easy at all. It would have been nicer to do 1 lap, but it is what it is, and I think it worked fine. All right, here we go. Steep climb coming up with a lovely 22%. And then it just sits at these really high percentages. We've caught my teammate J-Bake here. She's going to sit in this group, and I know she eventually was able to push through to a group in front of me, I think on the second lap in this like almost exact same place. So she had an amazing race. Just super impressed by my teammates that can push through and really stay with groups, make sure they're always up there. Super great. Lots of feathers being dropped, as they should be. If you had a feather, this was the place to use it. I would think the steeper, the better for the feather. But I definitely used mine here. All right, so still sitting at 13%. Just trying my best to stay as strong as I can. This is a little bit above FTP for me, in case you're wondering. There you go. Okay, so like that's about FTP. High, or right around 190 is my FTP currently. With my cross races, they've been going really well, so we'll see. I've had some good races recently and kind of figured some stuff out. The stuff that I've been talking about, how I've been relaxing and then punching, so even if I lose a group, it's actually worth it for me to chill for just a second and catch my breath and then punch back on, because that's actually more recoverable for me, which is weird, I know. But I've been recovering more and then punching, and I've been doing that in cross, and it's made a huge difference with my racing. So anyways, we're almost up this climb. It's gone all the way down to 8% elevation. So I've been quite pleased being able to stick with people. I'm terrible at sticking with people on climbs. So this was a really nice thing to see that I could do. And there's only one real other climb after this before the lap ends. So I do know that I'm in a good spot now. So even though I'm sticking with people, you can see how easy it was for a group to get ahead. So I was with my teammate, Jay Baker, just a second ago, and she's now like 12 seconds ahead. So on those steep climbs, it really makes a huge difference. So we'll see how the downhill plays, and also like group sizes, who's working when. I'm not a huge fan of using a lot of energy on downhills, but if someone in front of me is, and their size actually makes a difference, then that'll be helpful. I believe we actually catch the group in front of us again, and kind of reshuffle things. If not this downhill, I think the next downhill. All right, so we'll see how it goes. Got 2 people really pushing just in front of the person in front of me. So I'm just going to sit along for the ride because I know we still have to do all of what we just did again. This must be one of the only flat sections in this entire course, so we're at 0%, and you can actually see, like, we're all drafting each other, staying together, and we're catching these 2 just because the speed of people wanting to make that connection coming down the hill, now that it's leveled out, we've caught up with these 2 in front of us, and we have now narrowed the gap to the bigger group that got in front of us on the climb to 6 seconds. So we're getting pretty close, and we're going to see there's Hega, and Katie is just a little bit further back in the group behind me. So we all have someone in each group. I know my teammate Gret is still in the front group at this point. So we have like 5 people in 5 different groups, and it's really awesome how we can just have someone to work with each time. So I know that my teammates always had someone throughout this race. Super awesome. Great work from everyone. Alright, so I am playing to my best strengths of just kind of hanging on. I am not worried about catching this group in front of us. I'm going to let other people worry about that. Mainly because I know there's one more climb coming before the start finish. So I want to make sure that I have sufficient energy to get up that. You can kind of see it in the distance. We're going down now, and it's going to hit the bottom and then go straight back up. And yeah, as you can see, we're already catching this group, and we're not even working terribly hard. People are doing like, I don't know, 2.9, 2.7 on the front. And look at the speed that we just come in with. My teammate J-Bake does a great job of paying attention to this and making sure that she speeds up to stick with it. You can see her hitting 4 watts per kilogram. There you go. Just to make sure that she doesn't miss out on holding on to this group coming by. So here we are all once again together, and now there's just a group 24 seconds in front of us that I honestly do not remember if we catch. So we'll just have to wait and see how this goes. And we have once again hit a long climb. Well, it's not that long, but it's steep enough that you can really feel it. You definitely have to keep working to get over the top. And look at us. Look at all these Revo teammates just together pushing this climb, making sure that we are all together, and we're almost to the top. Alright, here we come over the top. We've got this one rider that's kind of off the front, but not really. Once again, if it goes up on this course, it's gonna go down. So I know that as soon as we crest this hill, it really doesn't stay flat for very long at all. We're gonna almost immediately just start going down. So yeah, we're still at 1%, 0%. And let's see how long it takes to go to a -%. So, okay, we're at 0% for a little bit, but plenty of time to regroup, and the speed of people making sure that they didn't get off the wheel. There we go, already -5%. So people that were making sure that they did not lose that group were coming over the top with more speed, came through, and are moving still pretty quickly. We still have that one rider off the front, which really is impressive, but I'm also like, it's a downhill. I would not want to be doing this all by myself. I would not be working at all. I can actually super tuck now. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to let go, because I'm pretty sure with this size of a group and this not as steep descent that I'll probably be okay not pedaling. And I'm probably super tucking here. Yes, I know that my camera angle does not allow you to see if I'm super tucking or not, but I prefer racing at this angle. And yeah, so I'm just gonna punch for just a second, get myself back in. I've recovered my heart rate down to the 150s, so to me that was worth it. And there we are. And I believe everyone's back in. Yep, we've caught everyone. The one rider that was off the front. We still have that group exactly 24 seconds in front of us. So we didn't lose any time on that climb. We also did not gain any time on our descent. So we'll just see with the next sections how this goes. So anyways, we've just gone down this hill. We're going to turn left as you can see in the mini map, and that'll be the start finish. So we're almost done with lap 1, and you can see what this finish looks like. It's good for me, downhill all the way. You just sit in the draft and then go relatively early, because it is a downhill. That speed you want to take advantage of. There's a little bit of a bump right there, but you want to just go. So that's what you'll see me do in one more lap. So anyways, one final flat section before we start these rolls all over again. Alright, so I'm in a good group. I don't know, I think there's maybe about 15 of us here. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the race, and I'll kind of pause it at certain sections so you can see what's going on. I've got myself a feather. I know I'm going to use it on the first QOM again, or the actual only official QOM, because that'll be a good spot. And I felt really bad for this person, not knowing that this was not the place to use the feather, because we're about to go downhill and there's a really good uphill to use it on. But it is what it is, and that's why I'm making these videos, to hopefully give some good tips. Use a feather on a climb. That's definitely where you should use it, and there's plenty of those on this course. Alright, so here we come once again. You should be able to see the dots better this time. Ah yes, there they are. I'm still not sure why they never came up with the QOM banner. It just comes up with the course banner, but that's what came up. So anyways, here comes this climb again in fast motion. This is a much more exciting way to watch this climb this time, especially. Once again, I know that after that initial steep bump, that's very short, that it kind of sits at this 1% and 2%, so I'm not afraid to kind of be a little bit further back, not super in the front, because I can get some draft. But then once we turn this corner and it goes up to 5% and 6%, I'm going to want to definitely move myself up, as you can already see I'm starting to do. Here I'm in a better spot, move myself up just to make sure that I can do a pace that's good for me. I'm going to drop my featherweight, so I'm not going to attack, but I'm just going to be able to sit in a little bit more easily because of this featherweight and not really kill myself. So anyways, that was my goal. Coming up this climb, I think I used the feather pretty well. I'm going to let my teammate chase that down. Good team tactics here. J-Bake is very strong at closing something like this, and of course, me being her teammate, I'm just going to back off and let someone else do the chasing. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down a little bit here, just so you can see basically what happened by this playing out. I think J-Bake didn't want to leave me. We probably should have communicated, like, go, you can go ahead and chase her down. That's totally fine. I'm backing off because I don't want to pull everyone else to you. But we also do have our teammate Hega slightly behind us, so maybe that was the best plan. Hard to know in this point. So now we're all together still, and I think honestly it was a fine plan, because once again we're about to hit this downhill. I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last time. I'm going to make sure I am working hard, and there's also not as many people that are about to come down this hill, so I'm just going to make sure I have everything in line. I don't really have a large group in front of me. Now I do, so now is the time I want to make sure that I'm pushing. I really want to save my anvil too. To me, it's worth it with this small of a group coming back down. I just have to know, like, go, you gotta work hard right here. And I'm making sure I'm keeping track of who's where. And yeah, you can see I'm pushing a little bit just to make sure I'm on a wheel. Everyone's anvil is now done, so I'm in a better spot. Alright, let me speed this back up. Alright, so everyone is back together. We did not lose... Oh, no, I take that back. We've lost one. There's someone that's 3 seconds ahead, but I'm pretty sure we catch her on this uphill again. Oh yeah, we're about to grab her. That's just the downhill with a group, because it's so steep. That's how different it is. In fact, there's another rider a second ahead, and then there's one more 5 seconds ahead. So I'm just curious Oh, I think that's everyone. I think everyone's in. And then there's a rider 5 seconds ahead. Yeah, that's the one that we can see off in the distance, barely, that we're going to catch. So, or we're going to try and catch. So everything is working out really well. I'm still in this group. We're catching a few people that get dropped from the main group. And yeah, I'm really happy with this performance so far. It's been really great. Once again, you could see my teammate J-Bake move up to the front, and at that point I let it gap just a little bit just to recover, also because I knew it was my teammate, but then I went ahead and closed it down just because I wanted to make sure I was with this really fast group coming up this climb, that I wasn't being stretched out. And oh, I didn't even realize how much our group has shrunk. So there's people now off the back by 5 seconds. So this is now a group of 6. There's just 6 of us. So I forgot about how small it became after that uphill, downhill, uphill again. All right, so we made it up that section. So now all that's left is the really steep climb and then one more climb before the finish. Once again, not afraid to just sit in. I am not going to be the one pushing the pace on this. And okay, I'm going to slow it back down now because I've just dropped my anvil. You can see this little twisty section is going to be that really steep section. So I've already dropped my anvil to get myself a little bit of a head start. That was my goal anyways. So now I need to stand up because, whew, there we go again, 22%. And just punching as hard as I can. The speed change is just nonsense. I probably came in with, I don't know, maybe 30 something miles per hour at least. It had to be at least 30 miles per hour, I'm pretty sure. And now I'm down to 5 miles per hour. But still in the front. And look, there's 2 people. I doubt I'm going to catch them. I honestly don't remember. So we'll just have to wait and see. Brandy here has a feather. I don't know. I think probably having the feather was more beneficial on this course than the anvil, even though I did lose the group with a lot of anvils on that first descent, but I still think probably the feather was the ideal power up to gain. But I am thankful that it was just the 2, since those were up and down. I feel like if you had arrow or draft bonuses, there were so few places where that would help you that you would just be at a loss. So I do feel like these were good power-up choices by the ZRL committee, whoever decides on that. So anyways, I'm with this group, and I know I'm going to lose J-Bake at some point in this section, but that's okay. I think we finish relatively close placement-wise to each other, because she's just one group in front of me. But it was definitely so encouraging to be with her the entire time. I know I was with Hega and Katie as well, and they are also working super hard. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up again. You can see me lose a few people, gain a few people. Let's watch it faster. As you can see, we were really close to closing it down to J-Bake for like a moment here, and this girl just goes for it. But man, my legs are just so tired at this point from all the up and down. So I'm trying to just kind of grab a wheel. I really give an effort to stick with this wheel because I know that the climb is basically over as soon as we get past this little crest here. So I do grab this wheel. Worth the effort for sure. So yeah, doing okay. We'll see how the downhill goes. I don't remember if we catch anyone else So we've got a 10-second gap to a group of 4. So we will see. This is a group of also 4. Let's see if the 4 can chase down the 4. I do think it's interesting that we have a Watt Fabrique chasing down the group in front of us. Like, she's definitely working hard to try and close this down. And she has a teammate in front. So I never know in this case when we're just going for finishing points. And apparently the scoring is going to be changed a little bit next round. That affects how many points and how many people get which points specifically. But for right now in this race, there's like a group of 5 that get the same point. So basically if you're 31st to 35th, you get, I don't know, I can't remember, 20 points. And then it goes down in different things like that after like the first 20. The top 20 all get individual points, and then it goes down from there. So anyways, it's interesting to think, is it worth trying to chase down your teammates group? Okay, so I've slowed it down just so we can see this last climb one more time. So this is it. This will be the last incline that we have. We're all dying. We've closed the gap. Oh, no, I guess it's about the same. 10 to 12 seconds to the people in front of us. And you can even see there's someone 18 seconds ahead of us. So looking at the mini map, look how broken up everything is. This last climb, I'm sure, spit out some people just because anyone who has anything left needs to do it here to try and break away. Otherwise, you're just sitting in the group for the downhill and sprinting. So if you are good at climbing and not good at sprinting, this was definitely the place to go. All right, so we're not really closing any time. So I think this is how it ends up. I think this will be the group that I finish with. No one gets away and catches on. And yeah, in fact, I think we've lost someone on this climb. There's someone 4 seconds back. So now there's just 3 of us going over the top. And the group in front of us is now going downhill. So that gap is going to gap pretty quickly now. All right, speeding up our video one more time, just at the start of this downhill. Yep, the group in front of us has 12 seconds, so they are definitely gone. I'm just going to hang out with Watt Fabrique, and I see Brandy. Brandy is one that we caught, I think, at the first lap on the really steep climb. So she is hung in this group, done super well. And we've got this last downhill. I'm going to slow it down here. So here you see I went to 0 watts. Barely fast enough to super tuck. I have no idea if I was able to super tuck or not, just because I was behind this person. But anyways, now you can see the left turn in the mini map. As soon as we turn that left, we'll be prepping the sprint. I do remember thinking, why is the draft so hard with one person? Because see how it looks like I'm to the left instead of getting behind her? I felt like I either went past on the left or was totally off her wheel. So I'm still trying to figure this out. I do feel like with steering, it's a little bit easier to kind of judge where I am. But anyways, here comes Brandy. Brandy has caught us. I'm pretty sure Brandy has a decent sprint, so I want to make sure I get on her wheel. Yes, putting out some numbers, make sure I have grabbed on. Now I can see the Watt Fabrique hit some orange very briefly, but I also have orange watts. So here comes my sprint. Woohoo! The thing that I do. I'm excited to have some sprint videos up very soon. And there we go. I end up in, let's see, there we go, 37th place. So yeah, when I went down the hill and got dropped, I was in 38th place. So 37th. Pretty happy with that. And it was a good race for me with all this climbing. I think it worked out really well. Teammates did great. Overall, a really nice race. And I hope to have one more race and then maybe some sprints after that. Thanks for joining.